We were wrong about the San Diego Padres. They're getting off to an incredible start so far, and it might not end. They might have an incredible season, much better than we predicted. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Bad for Baseball, the baddest baseball podcast on the internet, presented to you by Betway. I'm your host, Adam Peddle, joined alongside by Nicholas Paleolog. All offseason, we were talking about how the Padres weren't making moves. Their ownership was suing each other, and they were going to eventually trade everything away at the deadline because it felt like there was no direction with this team. So far, that can't be the case because they're winning and they're leading their division right now, and we got to give a little bit of respect to the Padres. So we're going to break down exactly what they've been doing, who's been doing it, and then give our thoughts on the rest of the Padres season. Before we do, hit that like button and subscribe to Bad for Baseball. In a incredible division with the Dodgers, the Arizona Diamondbacks, San Francisco Giants coming out of nowhere, you've got the Padres, Nick, on top of it all,
yes.
And I did not expect that.
I get it, dude. But listen, the hate wasn't coming out of thin air, folks. Like, when we were saying that there was an ownership feud that was going on, there was quite literally an ownership feud that was going on during the offseason. I think it's still going even. I mean, like, there was fighting, infighting between the entire family right now, between who is going to be owning, who is going to be running this Padres team, what is the direction going to be. This is all because, of course, their owner died passed away, just a little while ago now. His widow's fighting. It's a whole thing. It's a whole drama thing, everybody. But either way, there was fuel to the fire of the San Diego Padres not having a clear direction. And when you see these offseason moves from the Diamondbacks who go out, they get Corbin Burnes, and when you see the San Francisco Giants making moves under Buster Posey, and when you see the LA Dodgers doing everything and more, obviously people are going to start to wonder what's going on with the Padres. Flashing over to their offseason moves here, folks, I mean, we can see that ultimately there was some stuff that they did, but just not at the same level as some of their division rivals. I think it was like into January before they had signed an actual major league player.
Yeah, like I'm looking right here. I believe it was Elias Diaz was one of their first contracts right there. Signed a 1-year contract. And then, of course, you get some arbitration guys in here. Connor Joe, I mean, he was like a borderline bench guy on the Pirates for years. And then Jason Hayward, this dude's still playing baseball. So yeah, they had like a little bit of major league deals, but it's one of those signings, or a few of those signings, where you think, okay, this is a management that's not that serious.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, we're not fully investing right now in our future. Now, that is where we were a couple months ago. Where we are right now is a very different place, because right now, about 2 to 3 weeks into baseball, San Diego Padres leading their division 10-3, and this is in a division right now where obviously you have the LA Dodgers going insane mode, but also the San Francisco Giants are coming out of nowhere right now at a 9-3 record, and of course the Diamondbacks are going to be good. The Rockies are just terrible, and we knew the Rockies were going to be terrible.
They're going to get beaten up.
They're going to get beaten up. Oh, they might actually have a Chicago White Sox type of season this year if that division is that way, like all four of those teams being good. Either way, though, this is an amazing start for the Padres. We didn't anticipate it. How are they doing it?
Yeah, they're doing pretty good right now, and how they're doing it is they've got the #1 offense in all of baseball in terms of batting average. Hello, 8th in OPS right now. This is their ranks right now amongst the entire MLB, and they're getting good timely hitting. They're getting on base. They're not hitting for a lot of pop, but they're certainly getting and driving runs home. Now, the other part that I certainly love, and this, bullpen is so volatile. Any year you could be #1 because of how little innings you pitch, and that's exactly what's going on with them right now. #1 bullpen in all of baseball with a whip ranked 3rd. My goodness. And when you look up and down that a bullpen right there from the Padres, Jason Adam, Jeremiah Estrada, who are these guys? We got Wandy Peralta getting in there, throwing up a 0 spot in 7 games. Robert Suarez coming in here, throwing up a 0 spot. Like, that's phenomenal. When you can have shutdown innings in the late games, especially because right now their pitching staff isn't doing so well. Michael King's off to a bad start. Dylan Cease off to a bad start. But they have a good enough offense right now where they can tack on later in games, and the bullpen can give them a chance to win.
Listen, if they're going to be playing this kind of we don't hit for a lot of pop, small ball mentality right here, get on base, string a lot of hits together, you're going to find yourself in some relatively close games. Having that bullpen that can then come in the sixth, maybe if your starter didn't have the best outing and, just lock that thing down for the next 4 innings, there's something to be said for that, man. And, many a time have we seen a team kind of use that bullpen to carry them all the way to the playoffs. And then especially in the playoffs, I mean, you saw it last year with the LA Dodgers. That effectively won them the whole goddamn thing is having a good bullpen because their starting pitchers just fell apart completely.
Yeah, and I do want to highlight the one negative thing about the Padres, which is that high starting pitching. And again, here's the thing. These are guys that we've seen be very successful in the past. Michael King in the playoffs last year was phenomenal to watch.
He was great all season long, yeah.
Exactly, and great all season long. So you got to imagine things are going to come around for him. Still got 2 wins somehow with a 4.5 ERA. Not too bad, or 4.05. And then you got Dylan Cease, who's 1-1 record right now with almost an 8 ERA. It's Dylan Cease, guys. He's going to come back around. And honestly, the good thing here is the fact that Nick Pivetta, who was one of their late, we didn't even bring him up, one of their late into the spring kind of signings that they brought in, is off to a great start. So, the fact that he's off to a great start, which was probably one of the most worrying spots in your rotation, that these other guys are going to turn it around. And that's going to just be a great recipe for success because we know how good the offense has been in the past. And the fact that they're getting this great bullpen coming out, it's all good. And honestly, way better than I expected.
Yeah,
they could be carrying this for a while.
Dylan Cease is obviously going to be better than an 8 ERA that he is right now. That's just going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
I do want to highlight a couple people on the offense very quickly because you're getting those performances from people that honestly you would hope and expect to get them from, right? You got...
Pulling it up right here.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. You got Jackson Merrill, who is off to a hot start, who did actually just get placed on the IL. So, I mean, that sucks for him. It is a 10-day IL right there. But you also got Cronenworth, who's doing well. He's had a couple seasons in a row now where, just hasn't been at that offensive output that I think a lot of people hoped for. Can this continue? Potentially, right? Because you look throughout the rest of the lineup. Fernando Tatis Jr. doing phenomenally right now. Luis Arias, the OPS isn't there, but he isn't an OPS guy. He's still batting 283. That could be somebody that leads MLB in hits when it's all said and done. And you got Manny Machado doing Manny Machado things down there.
Look at that, Martin Maldonado, too. What? Where did that come from?
Well, that, to me, I wouldn't be counting on that. If you're a Padres fan, I've seen enough of Martin Maldonado to know what happens here. But, hey, we're getting contributions up and down the lineup.
Hell, I'll even give some credit to Xander Bogaerts, who we've been all writing off for the last couple seasons. This guy's batting 304 right now. But overall, great hot start for the Padres. Great bullpen. You expect the starting pitching to get a lot better than what it is. And, you look at who they did it against. They had what was a tough division or a tough series against the Braves to start the year. They go on and they sweep those guys. Then the Guardians, playoff team, we'll see what they're going to be this year after they traded a lot of guys, sweep those guys off to a 7-0 start. The Cubs did go in and they went over there and they got beat up a little bit in Chicago. They only won 1 of the 3 there. Then they go over to the Sacramento A's, take 2 from them. And you look at the rest of the schedule, there are some tough series in here, no doubt about it. They got to face the Cubs again. Astros are always going to be a tough team. The Tigers are off to a great start. The Giants, too. But you're sprinkling in the Rockies, the Rays, who are in the last in the division, the Pirates, the Rockies again, the Angels. Yes, they're off to a great start, but they're facing a really easy schedule.
Man.
The Mariners, the Jays, we'll see what they're going to be at this point. The Marlins, the Pirates again. After 2 months, this team could still be on top of the division. And you might say, oh, well, they're going to be on top of the division. They're facing easy opponents. Wait till they face the Dodgers and then all these tougher opponents. Well, I mean, the Dodgers are going to face easy opponents all year long, too, because they're better than everybody else. If the Padres can still be one of the best teams in baseball, then they should be dominating and putting themselves in a good spot come trade deadline.
Yeah, I look at this schedule, and I just see a road and a recipe for success right here. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of there's a lot of teams that I think if this Padres squad is playing at the caliber that they're playing at right now, they should be better than. Now, I see that you're flashing over June right
This
here.
is going to be the test.
And yeah, it is, because you're going to deal with your division at this point. Eventually, you gotta bite the bullet and handle your division. What is their record going to look like in June? I mean, if you can get yourself into such a favorable position that, from honestly, from June onward, even if you go 500, you still make playoffs. That's okay. Right. And honestly, I could see something like that happening. And that's assuming, of course, that when they do run into those division rivals, that, it slows down. Maybe this is just a really fucking good baseball team, right? They're all doing well right now, other than effectively Dylan Cease and Michael King. Everybody is playing well. And they did do it against the Braves, and this is like, they were going on the road too, and they did do it, against various other opponents. So I like this Padres team a lot.
Well, what was the one thing that was telling us that they were going to be bad? It was the fact that the management was not clear of a direction. They weren't bringing anybody. They lost Profar. Dude did PEDs. So is it really a loss?
Seriously.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, this guy cheated. So it didn't really matter anyways. I guess in hindsight, you were going to lose him regardless. So you didn't really lose a whole lot. You still had a lot of your core with your team. So, unless they get off to a bad start, then that's the only way that right now they're going to be selling at the deadline, being a bad team. But they're off to a great start. So you got to imagine come trade deadline, they're going to be in it, but then it's all depending on the ownership. Or is the ownership going to buy in? That's the one question.
Listen, the ownership's going to be forced to buy in, regardless of who. That's the thing. There might be some feud. They might be, debating on, who runs the team. If that squad is 10, 15 games above 500 come trade deadline, doesn't matter who the fuck's running it. The direction is going to be so abundantly clear that, of course, we need to be trading.
It should be clear if they can get on and do it, because in the offseason it was clear, go add, and they didn't do it. So the direction is clear if they're winning, but will they do it? That's what I'm bringing up.
I understand.
I don't know. They got to figure it out, right?
I do hear what you're saying. I think that when you do get off to a start like that, and again, it's got to continue. It just adds more fuel to the fire right there. And you know what? There would be no excuse for them not to go out and do something. Now, if you are fully believing in this Padres team, and I'm not saying that they're going to do this, you can hop on the Betway, though, and bet them to win the division. Now, if you can believe it or not, the Dodgers are currently, they are favorited, but so heavily favorited that you'd only be getting 10% of your money back that you bet. So you bet $100, you only win $10.
That's insane.
That's fucking nuts.
And look, in a division with, the Padres, the Giants off to a great start, and you never know about those Arizona Diamondbacks. They can come and shock everybody. I'm kind of surprised. And look, I get it. The Dodgers are one of the best teams that we've ever seen in a long time. But with all those teams,
that's what I'm saying.
You think they're going to win 90% of the time? You know what I mean? That's crazy.
That is pretty insane. But you could be taking the San Diego Padres.
That's the thing.
8.5 times your money if you think that they're going to pull this thing off. They're leading right now. We only have like 5 more months of baseball to get through, but they're leading right now. So something looks good over there.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So if you want to go bet on that, hop on the Betway, hit your picks, and knock it out of the park with Betway. Scan the QR code right here or click the link in the description. Guys, let us know all your thoughts about the San Diego Padres down below. Did we miss anything? If you're a Padres fan, let us know what we should be talking about with your team, because look, we're ignorant. We got to know more about baseball, so you guys let us know down below.
Thanks so much for watching. Hit that like, smash, subscribe button, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Cheers.